Peace and on with the show. Today is day number 14 in the month of December, and the year, of course, for the time being is 2013. Time right now is 3 minutes to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:57, and it's Saturday. Saturday, as you know, is what really matters day, and the matter, which I've come to the conclusion of all throughout this year, but actually previously, is self esteem. What people think about you is what matters to most people that are on this internet. So I want to go ahead and do this quick post, get it out the way. But authentic conversation, maybe we should open up some and do as usual, just talking to each other off the top of the head and see what we can come up with together. On this end, I've got a secret to unveil, which is really not a secret, but sometimes and somehow, some way, with this new thing with social media, especially on Facebook, that's why I selected that in particular. The same thing happens on Twitter too. Um, my position actually gets confused. So I'm not necessarily sure if I'm even the one that is really qualified or fit to even speak on this subject of unfriending, because I'm really not all off into it like that. I'm just not into the social media thing like people who are on it and live on it, consume it, uh, eat, breathe, sleep it, poop it, whatever you want to call it. But on another level, I kind of am into it just from a different perspective, which is an administrator perspective. This pimphop.com thing has been up since 2003, actively functioning. That's before Facebook or Twitter. Actually, that's before MySpace even existed. And I knew all the way back then that it was going to be some shit that was starting to show up in society when it came to the top 8 friends, and they started coming out with new things where people can add more top 8 friends, and uh the women and the men, because that's what it boils down to in life. At the root, women's saying, what you got her on your top 8 for? Or she say, I'm on your man's top 8. And it's about who considers who to be significant, who is showing a lot of attention and a lot of affection to who. And I think women are the best people to be able to put that together. Like I said, with me, I'm not really into it like that, because my thought process is, authentically speaking, how and what do we need to do to make ourselves some money. And when it comes to making money, the obvious question is, how can you provide service? So how can we provide a service that's valuable to you as the people that are watching and using the products that are being put out? How can we have a positive impact on society? How can I leave a legacy? How can I have it so that my name is known after I then moved on to some other things? People say, yeah, man, Roland Branch, he really put it down on this level. That's how my thought process works. So I have to focus on things like education, healthcare, the economy, uh, religion, social issues, stuff that really matters. But between us as friends, what really matters is self esteem. And what really matters is this little itty bitty insignificant stuff that takes place on these social media sites, because that's where it starts. Who's friends with who? Like back when we were in school, and you get up every single day to start your day, and a part of your thought process is what your friends is going to think when you put this on. You got the new hot so and so, and you're gonna hit the campus, and your friends gonna be checking you out, or who's in a relationship with who's boyfriend, girlfriend, all that stuff that we used to do when we were kids, and now, interestingly enough, we find ourselves doing. It's a little bit different for me but some reason when you're on the social media, you can easily get caught up in that. So I have to sometimes step back and look at it from a different perspective and say, nah, let me just at least communicate it to myself. I'm looking at it from an administrative perspective and see what we can do as far as our technological resources to offer something to you that helps you to achieve your goals. So starting with yesterday's post with working girls, that's really what I see. I want to see more people focused on using our time to be productive and providing service, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. That's what the economy needs. More productivity is based on productivity. They call it GDP, gross domestic product. But that's kind of going off the subject still, but it's back on the subject because it has to do with what we're doing with our time. Whether you is friending or unfriending, whether you're responding or not responding, it's costing you time. Time is on the line, and it's called Facebook timeline. It's the same thing with Twitter too. It's come out into the forefront where people have different little programs that they use to keep track of who's friending and unfriending a person, or who, I'm sorry, following. Is follow on Twitter and friend on Facebook and whatever Instagram. I don't use that, but it's follows on Twitter. So unfollow. People have programs that keep track of who's following who. Um, I have stuff sometimes where I might just go follow a person because they follow the Pimp Hop Twitter page, and for some reason that person acts as if they got themselves a lifelong fan, and I'm supposed to go and keep track of whatever it is that they're doing, like they really got me in pocket. But truth be told, I really don't even log on to that site for too long. And even with Facebook, it's an actual set amount of time. I have a quota of amount of time that I'm actually allowed to spend on Facebook because I can't get my job done if I'm spending too much time on Facebook. So I got a job to do over here, and that's just for me in particular. But even with Twitter, you got quote unquote important people, and it'll make the news. Kobe Bryant unfollowed Dwight Howard. It's like, okay, on Twitter. There was one with Coach Mike Tomlinson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, cut some players loose and then unfriended them. Like, that's an actual status level that's actually being considered as relevant in today's society. So once again, we actually are focusing on what's important because again, it goes back to self-esteem. Self-esteem matters. And I actually like where it's going because more and more I'm using this urban dictionary to define things and concepts, because more and more concepts that permeate a person's life, they really don't come up in the actual dictionary. They come up in the urban dictionary, like unfriending and unfollowing. Those are new up to date terms, but more and more and more the world is switching to more, I guess, what we call urbanized thinking. And I can be considered somewhat as an urban guru, so that adds value to this information that we're sharing with each other, and things are moving in the right direction. So, like Hannibal Smith from the A Team, I love it when a plan comes together. But getting into what you came to hear about as far as unfriend, um, I've actually unfriended a few people over the years, but between us as friends, on my personal Facebook page, it's never gone over 200. I deactivated it recently. Sometimes I do that, but right now I think it's at 70 people. On the Pimp Hop staff page, because I'm concentrating on the business and what it really takes to move it forward, there's 100. Let me look. I'm actually on right now. Friends, 163. The Pimp Hop staff page is at 163. Never went and did one of those uh, fan pages or like pages. Like, I'm on a different level, fool. You got to come like my page, and we can't be friends with each other, or whatever kind of stuff that people be coming up with to, again, help boost their self-esteem and try to feel important. I've already did a post on that that explains that there's a little indicator that says like on everybody's page, whether it's personal or business, and people are competing with each other for that commodity, that coveted commodity known as likes. But I guess the way it's working right now is if you request a person's friendship, that tells that person that they're important. If you unfriend the person, well, that tells them that they're not important. They're not significant to you. You don't need them. You don't want them. Whereas if you unfriend the person, or if you friend request, like the little females I see on the internet right now, if you send them a friend request, that kind of gives her a little jolt of importance. That's like some important juice that she gets to sip and feel like somebody wants something from her. Personally, I don't find myself really needing anything from anybody on here. That's just a matter of, I guess, grown up and mature behavior. I don't depend on people emotionally, need approval, need acceptance. Uh, Not in this capacity. Once again, we're focusing on business and what it takes. And some of you who follow, I'll come out and authentically say out my mouth, we're about the business and what can we do to get together and move forward. But it points back to these basic human scenarios of unfriending, and I want to know from you if you feel like it might could be your best friend. I've seen arguments, family disputes over who friends and unfriends who on Facebook. I've seen people that befriend each other, but they don't really talk to each other, as if the real goal is to spy on each other, which again costs time. Time is money, money is time, and it's kind of getting to the point where somebody's going to have to keep it pimping and make sure that we're headed in the right direction. And I'm looking more and more like that's going to fall on pimpout.com, based first and foremost on some authentic conversation. Let's really look at what the is going on and say, how important is it really for a person to befriend you or unfriend you on Facebook? Like, if I unfriend some people on here, is you really finna feel hard pressed? I've had that happen. Some people go into a frenzy and block out everything, and it's cuckoo bird. So actually, we're in the market and probably could use some help with a social media coordinator. One of y'all young females that really knows the game as far as how it really goes and how to play to win. I'm at a loss for that, but I'm at a win on how to put shit together to make it work the right way so that we can take care of ourselves and our loved ones and our dependents and live a good life doing what it is that we enjoy. So, unfriend, unfollow, is it your best friend? It might could be, but if I were to leave you with anything, it would be that you liking yourself, which is the habit that I've gotten into and using this social media, keeping track of myself and my own progress, being my own best friend. I would recommend that to you too, because if you actually like yourself and your friends don't like you, it might could be time to find yourself some different friends. Ultimately, winning or losing is based on how one feels about themselves, and winning and losing is victory versus defeat. And we want to offer something that's definitely going to keep you at peace, whether you get unfriended or befriended or whichever way your friendship flow works. But that's just like in school. There is something taking place here on this social media, kind of like an institutionalization. being in school, being in jail, where people form little cliques and form little clusters of like and dislike and uh, synergy towards one another. We could go on, and this is an important subject, and that's why I decided to open up a little bit. But 2014, we're definitely gonna. Well, actually, it's already here. It's whenever y'all get ready for it. We got something that really sets the record straight, and I invite you to check into it. The only real requirement right off top, like yourself, satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. One love.